Hey everyone, this is Sheila Joe, and I'm so late with my review of episode 2 of Love and Marriage Huntsville season 8, but I had a really busy work week, so I'm going to dive into the review today for this episode. So everything I say is alleged and in my opinion, so Marie Scott, please don't come for me. Enjoy my review. So basically the episode starts out with Carlos podcast, and Sonny and Moses then join the stage with Mel and Carlos. This was a shock to Mel. You could see it on her face. She seemed really surprised. Carlos basically breaks down the Sonny Moses situation, stating that Sonny was Destiny's producer when she was working with Destiny on Love and Marriage Huntsville, and how Destiny introduced her to Moses and was basically giving her details about their relationship, and Sonny basically was telling Destiny to leave Moses. And so that's kind of Destiny's, I guess, background behind why Sonny moved kind of in a stakish manner. But then it was revealed basically that Sonny and Moses are now married, and I was at the podcast, and once they announced that they were married, everybody was kind of like booing them, and I guess Sonny kind of reacted to that, saying she wasn't really expecting, to hear the boos, but it's just something that she has to kind of deal with now because it is what it is. Basically, Sonny basically said that Destiny had never really disclosed anything about Moses to her. She never really talked about him, and they discussed timelines about their relationship, when they met, when Sonny and Moses met, etc. To me, I just don't like the storyline at all. It's just not something that I'm willing to do, so I don't really understand Sonny's stance. But I guess throughout the rest of the episode, maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. But anyway, Moses then chimes in and says that him and Destiny never broke up. They actually just stopped talking. So that makes it even worse in my eyes. The reason he gave was basically that Destiny was focused more, I guess, on her career and going to Atlanta, going to all these events, and wasn't coming to visit him. Carlos posed a question about if they told Destiny anything, and Sonny said she did try to have a conversation with Destiny, but Destiny only texted her, and so Destiny ended up finding out about their relationship through text. And Sonny then blurted out that basically Destiny was a side chick from day one, that Moses was never really committed to her because he was dating several women, even when he was supposedly dating Destiny. So to me, I don't know. That's why I feel like I just can't connect really with Destiny and not really feel any empathy, because there's just too many holes and too many disconnects with her story. And it's hard for me to kind of grab onto her and feel like this consistency, or kind of understand, like, did she really love him? Because it doesn't really come off that way. If she really was in love with Moses, we never really got to see that. We didn't get to see Moses saying that how much he was kind of like in love with her. So for me, I really don't have any empathy, but at the same time, I am still side-eyeing Sonny, because just me as a person, I wouldn't be able to do that to anyone. So basically, the next scene, Maurice and Marceau are headed to Martel's property, and they discuss Marceau doing some work for Maurice's property that he recently purchased and wants some renovations done. And then they start to discuss Martel and how things are getting worse between Martel and Mel. Maurice basically says that Martel needs help, and Marceau says Martel hasn't really changed. And I totally agree with that particular statement, because Martel hasn't really shown any growth. He just seems like he's just really upset that Mel left him, and kind of looks like he hasn't moved past the fact that they are divorced and they need to now live their separate lives. To me, that's one thing Martel really needs to work on, is just focus on himself and continue to just live his life, but without Melody and without the focus on Melody. So then Maurice and Marceau, they go into Martel's property and they say hello, and Marceau asks why he had the interview with the blogger, and we all know who he's talking about, which is the Tasha K interview with Martel. And Martel basically justifies his actions because he said Melody went low, so he went lower. He said that he has been quiet, but when he's quiet, he thinks Mel tends to go harder, so that's why he did the interview. And I want to call BS on that, because to me, he started all of this. And that's all I'm really going to say. But Martell has the audacity to really be like, us nice guys, we get the bad end of the stick or the worst end of the stick. This guy is ridiculous to me. He's really laughable. Next, Marceau and Maurice then ask, what is the ultimate goal to Martell? He basically says that they're trying to insinuate that Martell is trying to change Mel's fan base view of Melody. And Marceau then says that we are a group of deplorables, brainless, foolish people that follow someone that ignores all facts. But, oh my gosh, I want to kind of dissect this so much, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because Marceau and Maurice, I want to like you guys so bad, but y'all make it so hard. But the issue is that you guys are so inconsistent. How can you say you're building this mansion and and years later we don't see anything? We don't see any evidence. We don't see anything. How can you say you love your wife, but then you didn't want to get remarried to her in Vegas, or you went on an Africa trip? Like, there's so many things that shows your inconsistencies, and you just kind of just want us to believe what you say, but your actions don't match. And so to say that we are a group of deplorables, brainless, foolish people, the nerve. Coming from two people who think they are city slickers that went into a smaller town and basically, I think, outsmarted some of those people that are in Huntsville. So only because of your street smarts, not necessarily because you're really smart. And then there's also the story that was on YouTube Streets about how you're not really a great contractor. So we have that also going against you. So Maurice and Marceau, in my opinion, who are you really to judge, and why you make such a very bold statement, I would say. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that. Martell then says it's not about the fans, it's about him and what he wants to convey. So he says, again, that she went low and he went lower. Basically, she got him arrested. To me, that statement is also ridiculous. But Maurice and Marceau still try to rationalize with Martell and basically saying you will still end up looking like the bad guy. And in my opinion, no matter what, no matter how you slice it, no matter what Martell says, he is the bad guy. Yes, you were arrested, but it was based on your actions, your threat to Melody. The fact that he thinks he did nothing wrong to warrant his arrest really makes me upset. But I also remember when the RP plot kind of came out and, through the YouTube streets and also on Instagram. Even Carlos didn't take it seriously. I remember he made a post on his IG saying his office is closed, and unless breaking news happens. That was under his picture that he posted of him, in his nice little Speedo or swimming trunks or whatever it was. I don't remember. I have to put up the picture here. And even under when he made that post, a lot of people were making comments and basically saying, Carlos, you're not even acknowledging the fact that something really big is going on. So even Carlos didn't even recognize or take what Martell did seriously. And so to me, that's also a major problem. And that's also the reason why I think Martell behaves the way he does, because he does have people who support him behind the scenes and they don't see him doing his wrongdoing. They kind of just overlook it. Even in the conversation with Marceau and Maurice, they never just flat out said, Martell, you're wrong. It was more of trying to figure out if he's just trying to one-up her and it's just not the way to go. But to me, they never really said, look, dude, you're wrong. Martell then says that Marceau can't tell him anything because he goes back and forth with people online all the time. And I kind of agree with that, Marceau. But anyway, he then also says that they haven't experienced what he has experienced, so he don't think that he can understand. But Marceau makes an interesting statement that he did experience what Martell has, but he chose not to get a divorce. Now, Marceau, I have a lot of questions regarding this statement, but I know I won't get any concrete answers when it comes to you and Tisha's marriage and relationship, whatever. So, but I just want to really bang Martell's head against the wall and say, dude, man, you started all of this. You did. Like, you just got to own up to the fact that you started all of this, and you cannot expect someone to not respond. I think you want to kind of like throw rocks, but then you don't think somebody's going to try to cover themselves or respond to you throwing rocks at them. No, like, dude, I don't know. I don't understand Martell. Anyway, this scene is frustrating, and I'm spending way too much time reviewing this, but it really has me kind of all bound up. But then Martell, in his confessional, then says that their advice is what ladies want to hear. Oh my God. Okay, Martell, let's just do it your way. Let's see how it pans out. And everybody, go download Melody's song, Nobody's Business. It's definitely fire and definitely a clap back to that interview that Martell did with Tasha K. So then in the next scene, Stormy goes to Kiki house to try and understand what's going on with her leaking scenes to a specific blogger. And Kiki basically says that her mom played a big role in what the blogger was putting out. And here, I actually kind of believe Kiki based on some recent interviews that she did this past week, where I felt like she kind of trusted this blogger and considered him to even be her manager. So I think her and her mom was a little bit finessed by this particular blogger. Anyway, Stormy kind of admits that she doesn't really believe Kiki's mom was the sole reason why the information was leaked. And but at this point, Kiki has to take ownership, in my opinion, because she did trust the wrong people, the wrong person. So for Kiki, if you value your friendship with Melody, I just don't understand you were that angry. I know you need some time maybe for things to subside or to figure out if you want to say something to Melody or not. But after it reached the blogs, I think, and it's out on the internet, and Melody's kind of doesn't really know what's going on, I think you owed her a conversation to explain some things, whether you were mad or not. I think once it got leaked, you should have, to me, that would have been a priority for you to go and have a discussion with Melody versus having someone else now tell your story. So now another blogger is now leaking audio and all this stuff, and now everything is chaos. So now you lost control over the storyline. Now there's multiple people, hands in the fire, and you lost control. So my advice to Kiki would be, if she ever listens to my review of this, is that I wish she would have taken control, got ahead of the situation, and had a conversation with Melody, and I think that would have did it, all of this. So in the next scene, Kimmy and Tisha meet up with Sonny to kind of understand the whole Sonny Destiny Moses situation, and of course they start questioning Sonny. And I'm just over it. Like, I don't really buy the storyline. The only interesting thing out of this was the fact that they made a comment about how they need to watch producers because they can possibly sleep with their husbands, and that's kind of laughable. But the other comment to me, or statement she made at the very beginning of the scene, was that her and the family, they went to Africa, and the reason why she's making that statement is because when Marceau went to Africa last time, he didn't take them. He supposedly went alone. So there was a lot of rumors about that particular thing. Other than that, the scene, I'm just not buying the whole Sonny Moses Destiny thing, and I just can't connect to it. So, and then this last scene with Kiki and Melody, they basically discussing what had happened, where things were leaked in the blogs. Kiki does apologize to Melody, but Melody at this point is saying 6 months have basically passed, and she would have preferred for Kiki to kind of like come to her initially and say, look, man, I kind of got myself in a pickle, and this is what's going on. But Kiki hasn't done that, and so I kind of agree with Melody. A lot of people within the YouTube streets is basically saying that Melody kind of like came down on Kiki, but at the same time, I kind of get what Melody is coming from, because for me, being a friend, if I kind of wanted you to come on this platform to kind of like elevate your life or see you do great in your life, and then you're going to the blogs and maybe saying some things or alluding to some things, now you're losing control of the narrative. You're letting other people kind of tell the story, as I said before. And so I really wish Kiki would have reached out to Melody first and said, hey, look, this is what's happening, I apologize, and kind of get ahead of things before they kind of got out of control. And they're still going on. Audio's still being leaked to this day, and this probably happened maybe 6-7 months ago. So I don't know. I'm still kind of like rooting for Kiki. I still hope that she and Melody can mend their friendship and move on. I'm wishing them both the best, and I can't wait to see the next episode, and I'll be reviewing that tomorrow. This is Sheila Joe. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and leave any feedback in the comments below. Have a great day, everyone.